What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the thumbnail, I am trying to upgrade my driver's side headlight and try to put a duct in there. There are multiple options that you have. You can send it off to somebody to have it done. There's one that just gets rid of the fog light. You can continue using a high and a low. I am going for something that's a little more not as permanent when it comes to these headlights because they're super expensive now. Just trying to find a working pair is well over $1,000. We're gonna be working on figuring out the wiring for this headlight so that we can put in this headlight. Low, well, I mean, what I imagine is gonna be the low beam. Maybe a running light for the little, the outer ring, then a turn signal over here. You have your wiring in the back, and right now the wires coming off this thing are super small. They're 26 gauge, which is, well, practically nothing. So what I am hoping to do, kind of figure out an idea for wiring on how I want to mount the headlight, figure out what connectors I need, and then make it to where I don't even cut into the harness of the headlights whatsoever, and I'm just soldering wires, making some splices, and making a plug and play option for this particular headlight. I believe you can get it at Carbonetics. It's coming from Australia from what I was seeing. There's a plug and play option that comes for the R32 Skylines. For whatever reason, these particular ones do not. For the price I paid for them, I was kind of hoping they would have came as a plug and play. A little bit of wiring isn't going to be so terrible. But this should replace the headlight instead of a high. I don't really use my high beams all that much. So I should just be able to have a low beam and a turn signal with a running light over here. And eventually what that's going to make me want to do, aside from cleaning up the wiring and harnesses behind the headlight, it's going to make me want to relocate the reservoir somewhere up here. So we're going to remove the headlight tab from this guy right here. I'm still trying to figure out this the crash beam. Shout out to my boy Alex. And then there's this bolt right here. There's a total of 4 mounting locations. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll take it off, compare what the wiring is and what lights do what, and figure out how, you know, we're gonna wire it. Let's get into the cool stuff. Cool stuff being able to do this stuff in a dark area. Okay, so running light. So that little bump is gonna be for orange guy right there. Low beam, gonna be the connector for the outside portion of the headlight, and then turn signal is gonna be this bottom part. So we're gonna be using these 3 for this particular video, so we won't have anything to do with the high beam, low, high, fog. So this is the back of the headlight. The high beam is this guy over here. And this connector, which is a 4-pin connector, now controls these 3 connectors right here. This being the low beam, this being the running light, and then this being the turn signal. So low, running light, and turn signal. So we're going to pull these connectors off and see which ones go where. So we have these 4 wires up to this point here. So I'm going to pull this off. We're going to make a diagram, what this harness looks like, to what bulbs it's going to, and then we'll make a diagram for the new wiring on the new headlight and try to replicate that with some splices, some soldering. Hopefully get that on today. Alright, so bear with me. So this is the headlight harness. And from this view up, we're just going to say from left to right, 1, 2, and then on the bottom of that, 3, 4. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Brown wire on the top, right at position 1, red number 2, and then black on number 3, black with the white stripe at number 4. All right, so we're following. It looks like at the 3rd pin, black wire rolls over and then is spliced over into a black, a blue yellow, and a blue green, which is right here. So they have the splice, black one going to the low beam, the blue-yellow going over to the running light, and then the blue-green, which is this guy right here. It has a little green stripe on it, going over to the turn signal. Now this connector, some of you guys may be recognizing for the Evo guys, it's the same as a front O2 sensor. So if you line them up the same way, that is an O2 sensor. And a buddy was awesome to give that to me. Thank you, Matt. I don't use a front O2 sensor anymore. I just use the wideband for the AEM. So now, according to this one, in the same position, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to ohm out which one is the second black wire, so that way I can figure out which one to cut and splice into to then send off to the respective bulbs. On the back of these, it's black and red or white and pink. The pink one on what I'm going to turn into the running light will be power, and then the white wire will be the ground. There we go, man. Should be, I don't want to say an easy thing. Should be a lot easier now, but we will see how that goes and how the splicings go, and if I got them right, then it should do what I want it to, and if I did it wrong, hopefully it's just a fuse that I blow. We'll find out. We'll splice these guys together to which particular one. I'm going to ohm it out with my multimeter, figure out what wire is what after making a cut from this bad O2 sensor, which honestly, actually, Matt gave me a good one, so I kind of feel bad cutting this one, but for science. Make a cut right here, and then I'll ohm it out from the front as far as what position's what, make a little note of which one's what, and then I will cut that wire and cut that back, splice it, and should be able to splice the respective wires going to the LEDs. F for a good O2 sensor now being used for science. Now that I've made my appropriate splices, bring that over. I should be able to get these together. I don't know if that'll fit over that, but that's okay. Can easily do some other things to make that happen and cover that, and then it should be just a plug in this guy and hopefully not fry anything. So that's just a very, very quick mock-up. I know everything isn't totally the way it's supposed to be, but this isn't that far off from what the original headlight is for the car. So in fact, I actually think it's pretty close. As far as fitment, don't worry about fitment. This thing's been in an accident. I haven't pulled it out, so don't worry about looks. I'm curious how this is gonna go. I'm quite anxious, so let's turn off the lights and see what it does. Hell yeah, so the running lights work. The low beam works. And so can we... Yeah, dude. Now, mind you, this is just a mock-up, so I'm gonna play with how the harness is gonna be routed. I need to do a boost leak test anyway, so I'll be pulling this out and then rearranging this harness. So this just came from a front O2. I still have to connect something to the high beam. I don't want power just being sent to that connector and then not have anything behind it. So I'm going to find a correct female or whatever, male or female connector, and then just kind of pull the lines out. If not, just completely environmentally seal them so they can't touch anything. Again, this is how I did it from the, I just made basically a copy of this OG harness over here. We'll just call it the OG harness. And then from a certain point, you have your wires. I figured out that this guy was a ground, and then the ground just was spliced off into all these other guys going to all these other lights, whereas the other three on the 4-pin connector were power. So This is the new one from the O2 sensor that I was using. It may be like that for your setup, it may not be, but that's what that one is. I'm super stoked, dude. I can't say I've had something like this, so I think this thing's gonna look great driving around. And like I said, I'm gonna work on other harness stuff, and I don't wanna say wire tucking, but moving the harnesses around. So that harness is quite long. Real stoked, man. Thing looks great. Quite happy, quite happy. Now that I have something for a headlight, I can actually swap out those LED projectors. Those are 3-inch. So if I want to find something aftermarket wise, I can do that down the road, resolder some things, and go about it that way. We'll get there when we get there. I'm happy with what it's doing right now, and until it gives me some other problems or when it goes out, then then I'll fix it then. So that's where we're at right now. I'm still gonna hold on to that guy over there. Nothing wrong with holding on to the headlight, but I'm just happy to have this one on there and get some cold air to that intake, man. It's gonna be solid. Dreamer do, it's up to you. Till next time.